Good afternoon, Eric. Welcome here. Always a pleasure to receive you. You would like to have some information for me regarding 2012 vintage, which are the conditions. I will give you my point of view. The main question is that this vintage, the spring was humid, the summer was hot, the end of the summer hot and rather violent. Everything was going all right, the vineyard a little bit stressed by too much heatness, and it was nearly to be ripened. We were waiting for might be 8 days more when the rain falls. I'm not worried about that, because when the rain falls before the harvest, it's the most difficult vintages in Bordeaux. The trade cannot build a reputation because cannot build a reputation of great vintage, because a great vintage is when everybody succeeds. But you could, if you want to criticize, you could say that a great vintage is a little bit simply and stupidly sunny. And when you have rain and sun, it's much more difficult, but probably you have the most elegant and refined freshness, flavors of the fruit. So that we'll try to understand within a few minutes. You have the master word, I would say, in this kind of vintage. You have to play with the rain. You have to understand that the rain suddenly gets tired, degrade, is in the same time extremely dangerous and can get very quickly the fruit rotten, diluted, tired, dead. You know, that's why these vintages are the most difficult. Here we have the habit of this kind of vintages. We are 90 harvesters. We decide the day before when to harvest, and let's say in 2012 we harvested Tertre Roteboeuf within 1 day and Roc de Camp within 2 days, because you have to take the moment the rain has tenderized a little bit the structure to be charming, the fruit remaining fresh and elegant and just matured perfectly, and then you have the vintage character. So to analyze this vintage, you could say that some people afraid about the dangers of the rain harvested a little bit too early. So then the colors will be a little bit blue, the wine a little bit crunchy, Primeur, not a wine ready to grow old. People were clever to harvest under the very short moment where the rain was playing a beautiful game, getting the fruit ripe and aromatic. Then, and supple, because it dilutes a little bit the acidity. So then you can have some wines which will be beautifully, just freshly ripe, with beautiful tenderness in the structure, very aromatic. Some fruits, some wines, a little bit slightly decadent, you know, slightly decadent because the fruit comes a little bit tired. It will be beautiful expression of Bordeaux to this kind of wines. And just after, the fruit is cooked, is tired, is rotten, it's finished. So the window was very short, and you can define these two types of wines in the great expressions of the vintage. Eric, thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Merci.